Hey guys, welcome back to SoTA Sleepover series. Today we're talking about execution of justice.
Execution of justice.
I'm Ella, my pronouns are she, her, and this is...
My name is Wade, he, him.
Awesome. So, Wade, what year and major are you?
I am a junior BFA actor here at Illinois Wesleyan
Beautiful.
University.
Delightful, delightful. And what show is it that you're in?
I am in...
You decided to do something for
Execution of Justice.
Thank you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm here with my Dunkin' Donuts today. I have to pick that up. I have to pick up the $6 meal deal before I get any good Sunday going. So,
staple.
That's the staple of Sundays here. But yeah, I'm in Execution of Justice. We're about to enter Tech Week. As of us recording this video, who knows when you guys will see it. But we're about to enter Tech Week. It's been a really exciting process.
Yeah.
And we're making good strides, and I'm really happy with how the production's going. It's been really
Beautiful.
It's been a blast.
Awesome. Would you care to tell us what characters you play in this?
Right. So primarily, I am playing the infamous Dan White, right, and as well as the cop at the beginning of the show who delivers, this opening monologue. In contrast with Sister Boom Boom, who sort of echo the sentiments of the wider San Franciscan and really American population in the 1970s, and the dichotomy of the gay movement and those opposed to it. It's a really interesting monologue. A lot of nods to me being Dan White sort of incorporated into that, although it was originally not written that way. Okay. We've sort of meshed those two characters together almost.
So?
Well, I mean, we're the same actor, right? Obviously,
yes.
Playing both.
Just
but
the SoTA way.
Yeah, we sort of see, right, we see the cop as sort of an angry emblem of Dan White and sort of more of his internal dialogue and stuff. And it's just an interesting exercise in a preparation for this. And then I have a quick change, and then I come out as Dan White, who I'm sure we'll get into more of the intricacies of Dan.
Yes, we'll talk about
as we go along. But, Dan's an interesting character. Once I come on as Dan, I never leave, and I'm just kind of on trial the rest of the show.
Yes.
So it's an exercise in focus, an exercise in acting, and an exercise in how not to lose your mind.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
Speaking on Dan White, how is crafting a character for a show that's based on a real person different for one that is written for a show? Well,
there are advantages and there are disadvantages,
right.
I would say. The clear advantage is that you're able to have all of this background information. Right, I've read the book Double Play by Mike Weiss, San Francisco City Hall Killings. I've watched, the Times of Harvey Milk, the 2008 adaptation with Sean Penn, Milk. And I know so much about Dan White. I know how he moved, how he behaved, especially during the trial. I know what he was doing and how he was doing it and why he was doing it, which is what I'm acting. Which is great in a lot of ways. I have all this background information, but a lot of times what happens in a courtroom and what happens in these moments is not theatrically viable, right? So I have the tape of, my major scene. I won't give any things away, but my major scene in the show, come see the show. But my biggest dialogue chunk was, there's a tape of Dan White saying all these things, but it's pretty monotonous because he's very... Well, I won't give anything away, but it's pretty monotonous, right? It's not a viable theatrical offering. And so that's sort of the pitfall, is that you enter this state where it's like, okay, well, I want to be true to what was going on, but I want to create an entertaining and interesting piece of theater. And the issue is marrying those two things together. So obviously there's advantages. I know what's going on. I know what's going through Dan's head. But I need to figure out how to marry that with our production and what we're doing and these sort of stylized moments in the show. So it's an interesting challenge. I've never done it before, but I think I'm getting there in terms of character progress. So
cool. Speaking of those stylized things, can you talk a little bit about the choices that were made in direction and how you all are honoring those things, or holding space for both of those, that balance? Yeah, so, a lot of it is yet to be developed because this is, like I said, we're doing some stylized moments with tech. We're incorporating, a lot of different technical aspects from sound cues to, embedded props and
gosh, what are they called? Projections, really interesting lighting, right? But, you know, this is a verbatim piece of theater, meaning that every word said in this show, bar a couple, were directly said by the characters in the show, right? I mean, these are all, you know, you've got Sir Coppertini, who was, you know, Mayor Mosconi's appointment secretary, who delivers her, you know, testimony, right? And about what happened that day and how her interaction with Dan before he, no spoilers, right? Yeah. But, you know, all of these people giving these testimonies and giving us background information and doing these diatribes are real people who said these real things, and they're complicated people. But, you know, we're not trying to recreate necessarily every little thing. Obviously, there's casting. You know, not everyone looks like the character they're playing. But we're trying to be true to the spirit of it, is what I'd say. And obviously, the direction's been fantastic. RJ Hodde, wonderful director. We've done some great work. Great professor, great director. It's been a process of development, and it's obviously not all the way there, but we're getting there. And I see people making these super interesting choices every night, and it's been really compelling. And I think especially with this show, if you were to come multiple times, you would see the intricacies change each night, because we're really put in these high pressure situations that we're not fully scripting out. You know what I mean? And it's just going to be, you know, how do the actors react in the moment, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, given that it's such a marathon of a show, and given that you have so much time on stage without interruption, and that's true of a lot of the characters. It's a very demanding production. How do you one, prep for that and make sure that you're okay there, but also understanding how to operate and occupy a character who is very different from yourself and who is complicated in a very particular way? Yeah.
Well, I'll give a little plug. Our runtime should be only around 2 hours. So for the audience, it shouldn't be a marathon. No. But for the actors, you're right. It is a marathon.
Yeah, a lot of
memorization. And really everyone's on stage the entire show, aside from a couple moments, which is just an actor's nightmare and dream, I suppose. Depends how you want to view it. I think it's different for me every night, whether it's a dream or a nightmare.
That's fair.
And sort of the same thing with playing Dan. I mean, this guy did horrible things, and I don't think it's spoilers to really talk about some of the things he did. He killed Harvey Milk, who many believe to be the first openly gay politician in a major city in American history. He killed the mayor of San Francisco, George Moscone, who was also a politician at the time in 1970 San Francisco. And it's complicated. I mean, the crime itself is very complicated. Whether or not we would consider it a hate crime is complicated. It was a crime of revenge. I certainly think that it was part of it that Harvey Milk was one of his targets, was that he was a gay politician. And we talk about that in the show. It's really addressed about, what kind of crime this was and stuff. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It happened.
Action was done.
Right. It happened. And it's just, I've never played a killer. And I've certainly never played a politically motivated killer. Yeah. Right.
There are a few roles that allow for that exploration,
right.
Especially in an academic setting.
Right.
So,
and I may never get to do it again. It's not like an easy thing to do. My preparation, I catch some flack around here sometimes for my preparation tactics, but I think in this case they're necessary in a lot of ways, and we do wonderful things every night in terms of making sure before the show we all hold hands, we check in, we make sure that we're doing good, we talk about what we're excited about, what we're excited for the run tonight, and afterwards we have a nice jokey, laughy atmosphere that really allows for a decompression. I think that's really important when you're doing a tragedy, especially politically loaded tragedy, just as this. In order to feel okay as human beings leaving the space. But in terms of my personal preparation, it's a lot of work. I've got a playlist going with some 70s songs, some Pink Floyd, some U2, some of the Pogues, so it's been fun. I've got a little journal going, all the things.
an actor drink.
Yeah, right.
Love an actor.
Yeah, love it. But yeah, it's dark stuff. You know, there's loaded language in the play, not as Dan White, but I do have to engage in some loaded language as the cop, which is never easy. And you know, on a technical level, I'm always like, yeah, well, in service of the theater, you know, you do what is in the script, and you give it life, and you give it meaning because it has meaning. But in practice, it has been harder than I thought. Yeah, especially when we get in front of an audience, I'm going to have to compartmentalize and stuff. But I think it is in service of a beautiful, important story, and you know. And I turn into a killer afterwards. So, you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world. Right, it's a journey, but it's fulfilling, and it's been well done.
I know you touched on your practice, and like you're very much like immersive and all the But has there been any particular way that you're approaching, or any classes that you've taken, or particular like very technical like actory things that you're adding to your work or in creating this character?
Sure. Well, I'll give you 2 classes. First of all, I'll give you the basis of everything that I work with, which I learned in Acting 2 with the Honorable Nancy Loitz. The wonderful Nancy Loitz, retired professor here. She was fantastic. You know, where we based a lot of our work in immersion, right? And we based a lot of our work through Uta Hagen techniques. I've read Meisner. I've read a couple of the other, you know, major works of that era of creating sort of realistic acting. Right.
Yeah.
Those are foundational things, and I've tried to stay very true to those, even as we develop into more, you know, modern pieces and more realistic. I mean, I guess this stuff was realistic. The training was realistic, but more stylized as well. So that's the foundation of it all, really. It comes from there. It comes from given circumstances. It comes from immersion. It comes from, you know, really thinking about where you're going to be, how you're there, why you're there. I use a little bit of substitution. I'm not a huge substitution guy. I really like to be, I like to be immersed in the given circumstances of a moment. And I think especially in a verbatim piece, a guy like Dan White, you know every given circumstance.
You have to.
You know what's going on in this guy's brain. So I think in this piece, you know, you want to minimize substitutions, lean into given circumstances, lean into where you're at. And then I'll give you another class that I took here with my director, with RJ Hodde. Last year I took advanced scene study, where we sort of diverged from the Illinois Wesleyan pedagogy into more devised work, more Brechtian work, and it was very interesting to see how a developed piece of theater can come about without, you know, direct tinkering of every little moment, which tends to be what we do here. Not without cause, right? Yeah. We do wonderful work. But there is an air of creativity that exists in a theatrical setting when you can get actors in a space together without a perfectly devised plan. And that class really, you know, availed me to those possibilities. And in this we're doing this. In this show we're doing this, and it's been wonderful. You know, it just not scripting moments too heavily, and it's been great. It's been really good. Yeah. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Quite lovely.
Yeah.
So, given that this is a very particular production and there is a lot more heavier material involved, this is something that we have to ask ourselves as actors anytime we do anything. Like, what is the purpose of doing this show in this particular moment? What does that mean for you? What do you think? What do you hope that means for audience members? It's a lot to ask, so take your time. But I
mean, I guess the answer that I have is what isn't topical about this show. You know, obviously this is set in 1970s San Francisco, sort of at maybe not the height of the gay rights movement, but certainly some of the inciting action of it and some of the more vitriolic moments of it. Harvey Milk, first of all, anytime you're telling his story, it is important. He was an American hero. He was someone who stood up for what was wrong in the world, no matter what. And, you know, just earlier this year, they took his name off of what was formerly known as the USS Harvey Milk. And so we're seeing backsliding in the world around us, right? We're seeing, you know, for all the progress that's been made from the 1970s, and you will see, right? You know, some of the stuff that goes on in this show, you think this probably wouldn't happen today. You know, this wouldn't be the general culture's opinion on these things today, which is good. We've made progress. But if you look around, we haven't made anywhere near enough, right? And in fact, we're backsliding in today's culture in a lot of different ways. And I think that a piece like this is important to remind us of where we come from, you know, and what we're fighting for. The term that Harvey Milk loved to use was the us's of the world, which, you know, I'm not particularly included in. But, you know, he defined it as all the people who aren't getting, you know, their fair share. And he was a champion for gay rights causes, but he also fought, you know, for the rights of other disenfranchised groups, for the working class, for people who weren't getting what they need from the American system, right? And that is a message that is universal, especially in today's day and age, from you know, continued fights in the gay rights movement to things we see today in racism and other stuff, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And Harvey Milk was a champion for these rights, and so telling his story is incredibly important. Anyone, you know, who goes home and looks up more about Harvey Milk, that's a win, right? Find out more about what he did and why he was important. And then secondly, in terms of political violence, we see that in America these days. We see that all too often. And this was maybe not the extremist case of it, most extreme, whatever, but it was a very loaded moment of political violence in American history. And seeing that the chilling effect that had on an entire city, and it really gripped the entire country, and how a man can be driven to this act of violence is really shocking, and the chilling effects that it can have, and just, I won't get into that because it's going to spoil the story. But it's gripping, and it's tragic in a way that is really current, despite, you know, 50 years ago seems like a long time ago. It's really not. Not a lot has changed. And I think there's stuff to be gleaned from it. I know we're doing nice outreach stuff. I know we've talked to local, you know, organizers of pride movements and stuff, and you know, hoping to get some people in the house with support in terms of that.
Absolutely.
It's important, and I think that people will glean what they will from the show. I don't think it's some, you know, ultimate manifesto on you know, it's a telling of a court case. And you can glean what you will from the information that is presented to you as an audience member. And if you like what you hear, great. If you don't, you don't. But it'll make you think.
Wow. I appreciate that very thorough and thoughtful answer. Thank you for that.
Well, I've been thinking about it a lot.
Fair enough.
I have to.
You're like, well, it is my job.
well,
it is kind of what I do.
No, it's...
Yeah. Like an epic.
See?
It's like very heavy.
See, we have fun.
Yeah.
We have fun.
There are good things.
Come on.
Yeah. It's a great old time.
Yeah, come on.
Heavy, light.
Heavy, light.
It's good.
It's good. Don't say it.
Yeah.
6, 7. No! I said don't say it.
Stop. Can we talk about production elements outside of yourself, just observing it as like as an actor, being able to engage with these things? I feel like it's a very different experience than you know, seeing a show as an audience member. And like, how does lighting and costuming and set design, how do those things impact your character? What are you as an actor, both while you're engaged in your work and while you're more of an observing force? Like, how does that impact you?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to touch on the incredible work that, like, all of the actors in the space are doing. That's the majority of what I've been able to see so far, because we haven't incorporated a ton of the elements yet, but they're coming, and I can touch on them because I know what they're going to be. But the actors in the space are doing incredible work, and they're just I don't know, it's just inspiring. I mean, you see all this work going on around you, and you feel inspired to keep trucking on your own work, and they're just incredible. And gosh, I mean, I don't know, they're just wonderful. And we've done, I've done great work with Joshua in terms of our opening monologue as Cobb and Boom Boom. There's more. I won't go into naming names and stuff, but they're incredible, and just inspiring to me in so many different ways. And then we move into the production elements, which are going to be nuts. I mean, they're going to be nuts.
I've seen the outline of the set a little bit, and it's wild.
Incredible set design, Elizabeth Taylor. I've seen some of the costumes. I've had my fittings. They've been wonderful. Really 70s, really fun. I love my shoes. My shoes are awesome.
Right.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I've seen some of the lighting. I've seen the setup that we're doing. It's wonderful. Our sound design's been great. We've got like TVs mixed into our set that are going to be playing, live clips of, the show opens on Dianne Feinstein, at the start of it's her, like it's the real tape of Dianne Feinstein, 1978, going, Mayor's been shot. It's insane. It's going to be nuts. We're incorporating poetry, like read poetry at different points of the show from an American Prayer. That's going to come in. It's really haunting. It's really gripping. Gosh, I'm so excited. I'm almost jealous that I'm not able to see this show. Not to toot our own horns too much, but I'm a little jealous that other people get to see the show, because I think that the experience is so immersive and the work being done is so beautiful.
I know that was a focus of RJ's going into the process, like he wanted it, or just based on, I'm not part of the production, but just based on like what I've heard around the school. It's awesome that we get to talk in depth, because I feel like it's such a rarity that we actually have time to like sit and appreciate like all the work that is done and how many people are like doing the thing.
It's remarkable.
So this is great.
Yeah.
So thank you for this.
Yeah,
but,
thank you.
Of course. Thanks, guys. You're the best.
If I'm not mistaken, a student, two DTs designed this set and did all the costumes, right?
All the costumes.
Yes, right. It was incredible. I mean, student design show for the most part. We have a sound designer, Mark Tiratilli, and we have Courtney Amaro on Courtney Amaro, I don't know. Courtney on lighting design, 2 members of the faculty here, and then we've got student designers. I mentioned Elizabeth Taylor in terms of the set design. It is lovely. It is wonderful. We've got Joanna on costumes, and she's doing wonderful as well. We have a student stage. Shoes, man. The shoes. We've got a student stage manager and Astor Murley, and we've got Grayson on our as our assistant director and assistant stage manager. I mean, we've got a star team of students behind the scenes working their booties off to make this as incredible as it is. And it's so much work, and especially with the ambitious nature of our technical aspects, it's quite a lift, and they're doing wonderful, along obviously with RJ in terms of direction. So it's been so interesting to see kind of coalesce, and we'll see it really more in the next 2 weeks. I mean, I wish I could check back with you in a week and be like, this stuff is sick, but it's gonna be sick. So you're gonna have to come see it for yourself.
Maybe you touched on having a lot of material to engage with and help support your work,
right?
Just because it is based on a real life character. Was there any moment in that research and in that process that like touched you particularly, or I mean, it's a lot, but was there ever a moment?
Yes, but also I don't know if there's one more than the other. I mean, I do remember watching The Times of Harvey Milk for the first time and seeing the procession of mourners who came out for his vigil in San Francisco, just the street flooded with people and just peaceful, holding candles, walking down the street, and it's just heartbreaking. And I remember just crying for about 5 minutes when I saw that for the first time, because it was just shocking. And it was wonderful to see, and it gave me hope. And then, there's other stuff in terms of the trial and what happened after this killings that are just mind-boggling. So the lead inspector in the case, the man who interviewed Dan White after he committed these crimes, interrogated. It's pretty tough to call it an interrogation because he's pretty nice to him. Is a childhood friend of Dan White's. He's the chief homicide inspector for the city. Childhood friend, Frank Falzone. And he kind of gives him softball. I mean, you'll see. You'll see me and Ari act it out. But I mean, they worked together in the police force. They played a softball together, right? And it's just shot. I mean, all of these little things that coalesced. I mean, it really shows you. San Francisco was sort of the biggest small town in America at the time. Like everyone knew each other, and it was just finding that out and just talking about all the intricacies. It's so wild. And then there's San Francisco. There's all the stuff leading up to this. I mean, San Francisco in the 60s and 70s. I mean, this summer I read a book on Patty Hearst. And her whole saga with the Symbionese Liberation Army. You had Jonestown going on. That's mentioned in the play. Mostly San Franciscans died in the Jonestown massacre down in Guyana. There were genuinely like radical revolutionist groups going around the city at the time. There were a bunch of bombings, right? And so a lot of times when you talk about, there's so much clash in the city, right? And so some of the stuff seems a little crazy when you talk about the fears that this is something I've been doing to sort of not justify Dan White's actions, but how he got
having empathy for your characters is important and something that
right, in terms of just how he got there to a mental state of such, obviously he did have some underlying issues, but the city itself was a powder keg, and there was violence everywhere, and it was learning about those things. It was shocking, and just the lead up to that, and then all the lovely stuff that was going on down in the Castro with Harvey Milk, and just all these colliding forces. That really, this was the pinnacle of it in terms of how San Francisco was progressing in this time, and obviously we know San Francisco today is a completely different place. Now it's like this tech haven, and but at the time it was this small town with Irish and Italian and black working class families, and the new emerging gay constituency in the Castro, all melding into this big powder keg. You got Berkeley and stuff, and you've got it's everything you think of times 10, and it really was that crazy.
A lot going on.
And so the mindset of all these characters is influenced by that. They can't just be normal people. They lived in this wacky town at this wacky time in history, and so everything is elevated, and that's how you see, in any other town, this would have been a dispute between two city council members that really amounted in a couple fiery press conferences, and that was it. But because of where we were, because of who these people had to be, we got the result that we did, and it was tragic, but just wild to understand and find out about. And I'm grateful to this experience for just enlightening me to what that time period was like in San Francisco and U.S. history, really, because it's almost comforting to know how crazy things have been, and how how we've progressed from there. So
shreds of hope.
Right? Yeah. I mean, truly. Truly.
Absolutely.
So go and read. After you see the show, if you can, go and read the book Double Play. Go and watch The Times of Harvey Milk. Go watch Milk. I mean, it's fascinating, and this play does really well in terms of relaying it to its audience. But it's not the entire story, and when you get the entire story, it just feels like WTH. You know what I mean? WTH.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite line in the show? Could be yours, could be somebody else's. Oh God, that's a yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's this line that we've all been saying in rehearsal.
There's always the one.
RJ has this moment. RJ has this moment. He's not playing Frank Falzone at the time, but RJ turns around and he points to me on the stand, and we've tinkered with this moment some, but in one of his first goes at it, he turns around and points to me. He goes, "Dan White's psychotic behavior," and it was just great. So we've been referencing that at time. His psychotic behavior, just with the vitriol of 1,000 suns. So I don't know if you'll see that. We're still tinkering with the moment.
Passion.
Yeah, there was passion in it, and there should be passion in it, but the way he delivered it first time was just awesome. I'm trying to think of some other moments in the show that are great. There's this little interaction where they're trying to select the jury. There's this little exchange where the defense attorney Schmidt asks a potential jury member about his roommate, and he says, "What does he or she do?" And the juror goes, "He works at the Holiday Inn." And and Schmidt goes, "Permission to strike the juror for cause," and the court agrees. And it's just a really lovely, petty, funny moment. And there's moments of levity in there for sure. There's some really funny stuff. Lindsay has a great line that I'll let you guys just watch because it's too good. I can't give that one away. It's so funny. So there's moments of levity in the show for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of moments of levity,
yeah.
Have you, I know you mentioned like how the cast usually does like a check-in before and does like a little like jokey whatever, just like hearted energy after. It's such a heavy, dense play.
Yeah.
But has there been like a favorite moment for you in this process, or like anything that felt like a particularly bright spot?
Well, let me think, because I mean, I will say in general it has been very bright. It's been a lovely process. We've gotten wonderful work done. We've had some rehearsals where we were blocking it out, where we were just all having a blast and joking around, and we still got good work done, which was lovely. So I mean, just shout out to the whole process.
That's always like ideal. Right. It's awesome when you can get that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been lovely. I'm trying to think of a great moment. God, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to come up with one.
That's okay. We got a lot.
Yeah, we've got a lot. But no, it was great. It was great work. Yeah, we just had a great time with it. A lot of lovely people in the show, and working with them's been a blast.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Do you have any closing remarks, anything left on mind that you haven't gotten a chance to express, or anything that you want to leave us with?
Yes. Just that I've been honest and worked hard. Never cheated anybody, and I was trying to do a good job. I'm trying to do a good job for the city. I saw the city as it's going kind of downhill, and I was always just a lonely vote on the board. I was just trying to do a good job for the city.
And with that.
No, come see Execution of Justice.
When is it?
It is October 30th, October 31st, and November 1st. Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 7:30 p.m. in the EMJK Laboratory Theater. And on Sunday, our matinee at 2 p.m. in the same theatre.
We'll see you there.
We'll see you there.
Thank you for watching this SoTA Sleepover series on Execution of Justice. Thank you for joining us, Wade.
Thanks for having me.